Hello, I'm Boaz Schumann, and I'm here at the Eucharist Conference in 2021, hosted by the Institute for Hungarian Research and sponsored by Miklós Kastner, Professor Dr. Miklós Kastner. And I'm joined today by Giovanni Ventimiglia, who just gave a talk, as a matter of fact, a very lively and interesting talk, and we are coming out of that now, so we're all energized on that, and we just met actually for the first time. So, hello, greetings. And thank you for your talk. I want to pick up on some of the themes, maybe we can discuss them in general, of the relationship between religion and philosophy, language and thought, and language and translation as well, and how we should express these philosophical ideas as clearly as we can, even though, of course, they come to us in another language. Would you say a few things on this?
Oh, first of all, thank you very much. I am really very happy because I really met here some incredible scholars coming from all over the world, in fact. So I'm very glad to have been with them. I really learned a lot of things, to be honest. Now, so coming back to your first question, religion and philosophy. Now, for many years, I think philosophy was supposed to be something, in a way, emancipated from religious issues, or independent from them, or say neutral. Mm-hmm. But this, in fact, doesn't correspond to this philosophy, because often theological issues or theological problems have been a kind of laboratory for developing pure philosophical notions, and this is exactly what we are doing here, because I would say not every professor, scholar participating in this congress is so pious and religious. I mean, because religion on some, say, theological problems could be and are in fact laboratories. I say often to my students who are used to use mental or thought experiment in order to really better philosophizing. But in fact, if you are not a Catholic, if you are not a believer, you can easily use some theological problem as thought experiments. And I mean, if I believe, for example, or as a kind of thought experiment, think about a possible world. Okay. Now, everybody's convinced that this possible word doesn't exist at all. Now, Eucharist, okay, could be something similar with a great difference that millions of people believe that Eucharist is something true. So why is it legitimate to use mental, thought experiment about possible non-existing words, and it is not legitimate to think about Eucharist, which is a very existence for millions of people. So that is to me very interesting.
So let me see if I understand you. There seems to be in philosophy this kind of embargo on using examples that we actually believe in, or that at least some people actually believe in, and there is a bias in favor of sort of the non-real or the disbelieved. I think that's a really interesting point. Excuse me, and I think it's something that really came out in your talk, and I'm really kind of grasping it even better now thanks to this sort of succinct formulation, which is a nice thing about this format. But I want to give you a chance to say more about your talk, but I also want to ask about just the general kind of milieu, both intellectual and also your experience being here in Hungary, being in Budapest. And I know you have some background that, and I want to hear about this, or I'd like for what audience exists out there in TV land.
I can really be very, very honest. I've never been in Madrid, but this is my third time in Budapest, and I am very proud of it. I do remember I was at the very beginning of the university in Pilichaba, that I think was a Catholic university. Mm-hmm. I do remember that time I was invited direct by Otto von Habsburg, and it was an amazing experience, even though I didn't understand Hungarian, but I could see at first sight how happy was the population, where people there, at that time. And I find from different point of view that Budapest can play, from a cultural point of view, a very important role exactly nowadays. Mm-hmm. I am specialized in medieval philosophy, as you know. At that time, Islamic philosophy and Christian philosophy entered into a dialogue. Now, in this time, geographically, Budapest and Sicily, by the way, I am from Sicily, by the way. I think there are places in the world which can play an essential role in order to rediscover the importance of a cultural dialogue between Islamic philosophy and Christian philosophy, and that could be here.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that there are some places which are historically, geographically, culturally so situated that they act as a kind of crossroads or as a meeting point for different cultures, and that Hungary is well placed in this regard. Am I understanding you correctly?
Yes, but please let me underline something which is important, because nowadays often the so-called dialogue between Islam and Christianity is interpreted in terms of I can renounce, give up to some of my beliefs, and you have to even give. But it's not this the case. As far as I understood, in medieval time, the dialogue was not in spite of Christian faith, but because of and thanks to Christian faith. And I think nowadays that our Christian identity can play a positive role because I am Christian, because I believe in God in terms of Christian creed, Christian belief, which is part of our Western identity. Because of that, I am curious, I am interested in other cultures, not because I just, despite my faith, I have to be open to other faiths.
I see. So it's not a question of suppression, it's more a question, if I'm understanding you, you're saying, because I'm actively engaged in my culture and I love so many aspects of it, and I appreciate so many things, and I'm curious about it, that this provides actually a much stronger basis of similarity between me, say, and someone in another culture who has a similar disposition to his or her own culture.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's almost thanks to the differences and not in spite of them that we don't have to empty out. Am I understanding you correctly?
Thank you very much. Take, for example, the case of our DNA. Mm-hmm. If I am interested in the origins of my own DNA, I can let it be examined, and so I can discover different traits, different features coming from different populations. So that the same happens with our so-called Western DNA, cultural DNA. Mm. If I am really interested to remain faithful to my cultural DNA, I have to go in depth, and I will discover that some words which are now part of my DNA, cultural DNA, for example, substantially, category, contradiction, and essence, and so. These are now part of my DNA, but they come back to the Greek philosophy and other, for example, numbers, which are now integrally part of my DNA, cultural DNA. They originally came from the Arabic culture, so that if I would like to remain faithful to my own Western identity, I have to really, really remain faithful. And for this reason, thanks to my faithfulness to my cultural DNA, I can be open, not in spite of my DNA.
I see. So just because you have these things baked into your understanding of the world, number, for instance, doesn't mean you shouldn't expect to find them or actually take them from, say, Hindu or Islamic civilization. These are really interesting considerations. And well, I would say that I wish we could carry on, but we can carry on, and they're actually waiting for us to go and do a nice kind of walking tour. The only thing is now, of course, the camera has to stop rolling, and so whatever we discuss from here on will be, of course, lost to history.
Yeah. As Aristotle pointed out, first we have to live, and then we can philosophize.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
precisely.
need now to live.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, Giovanni.
Thank
This
you
has been a
indeed.
real delight, and thank you to everyone who made this possible. So, yeah, that's a wrap.